When you tell yourself that you are going to do something one day, you are setting yourself up for failure. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the JS Show. I'm so glad to see you guys here once again. If you are new, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the YouTube channel. It's a great, I think it's a pretty great podcast and YouTube channel. I'm kind of biased a little bit if you haven't figured that out, because it's mine. But there is always room for improvement. So I'll just ask you here at the beginning, if you like this video and like this podcast, go ahead and hit the like button. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Share it with your friends. And let me know. Let me down in the comments things that you might want to hear about, things that you want me to do, that sort of deal, or just let me know what you think of the show altogether. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it today. We're going to be talking about one day. Not like number one day. It's about the phrase when you have an idea pop into your head. So, like for me, I find myself doing this all the time. It's hard. I find myself doing this all the time. I think it's a habit that we get into as humans. I don't know if it's worldwide or just as Americans. But I feel like way too often we get in the habit or routine of when we want to do something, we say we're going to one day. It may be our intentions behind it aren't negative whatsoever. I don't think we're trying to discount that we want to do it and that sort of deal, to discount our motivation. But in the long run, majority, I wish I couldn't find a statistic, but I'm sure it's really high of the amount of people that say they're going to do something one day. The percentage of people that don't end up actually doing it is probably pretty high. It's just one of those things that we use to put stuff off. The meaning of the phrase one day is really just way that we use to kick the can down the road. When you use the phrase one day, when you're saying that you're going to do something one day, you're going to become a business owner one day, you're going to become a better spouse one day, a better parent one day, whatever it is, when you say one day, you're giving yourself a false sense of motivation, because when you say one day, you're putting it off. And in a couple days or so, you're going to completely forget about it because you took no action on it. And that's one of the biggest deals. The phrase one day is just another tool for procrastination. When you say one day, you are just enabling yourself to procrastinate on whatever it is that you want to do. I'm guilty of it. You're guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. Man, the amount of times that I have probably said one day ever since I decided, well, not even way before becoming an entrepreneur, like I said, it's like habit. It's instilled in us to say one day we're going to do something. And I don't know, when you're younger, I definitely know you're not using it as a procrastination tool, because like when you're 14, 15, it's hard to start a business. It's extremely, extremely hard to do that sort of thing. And so it makes sense to say one day, because down the road, yeah, you might own a business. But the hard thing is when you say one day, you procrastinate. You put it off. When you say, yes, I want to start that Airbnb business one day, I don't know that I said that with that, really. And that's probably why it got done in a good amount of time. I mean, it wasn't as quick as it should have been, but it was decently quick. From the time I decided I wanted to do an Airbnb business, to the time that I launched my first one, 3 months maybe. It was probably about 3 months. Yeah, 4 months. And so I probably didn't say one day on it, but the thing is, when you say one day, you just end up putting it off, and most of the time you're going to forget about it. It's not really necessarily your fault. It's just the way our minds work. Our minds have so much input coming into them that when we don't do something to make that stick in our brain, it's just going to get forgotten and pushed off because we have so much going on that it makes it almost impossible to remember something. When you think about it, you're like, yes, I want to do that. But then you're like, I'm going to do that one day. And then you move on and just completely forget about it. In all reality, though, when you say one day, when you're going to do something one day, it's basically like putting a death sentence on whatever it is that you want to do. If I said that one day I want to start an Airbnb business, I probably would never start an Airbnb business. If I had said one day I'm going to start a YouTube channel, I probably would have never started a YouTube channel. It's something with it. Once you become an adult and can do stuff, I don't know if it's waiting for permission or whatever it is. It's like we have a gatekeeper that we have to wait for that one day for whatever that gatekeeper is to say, you can do this now, to be able to do it. But the thing is, the only person that gatekeeper is ourselves. And so we just have to get in the process of saying, the only person holding me back from what I want to do, from that thing that I want to do one day, is myself. And once you get over that and realize that you're the only one that needs to give yourself permission to do something, you start to accomplish so many things. The amount of things that I have accomplished in the last year since starting all this is absolutely insane. I mean, I know I haven't made tons of money. My YouTube channel hasn't exploded. I don't have huge following, all this stuff. But I can guarantee you the stuff that I have built in the last year, the foundation that I am still building and have been building, it is going to set me up for so many great things in the future, in the near future. And it already is setting me up. Just like I had a phone call the other day with my landlord that I rent my unit from to be able to do Airbnb. And so there's two of them. They're partners on it. And I was talking with them, and I really want to work with them because they're pretty experienced in real estate. And if I hadn't started my Airbnb business and wouldn't have worked my tail off to get to where I am with it, they wouldn't have seen the potential in me. Because now we're going to start working together on some stuff, and that opens so many doors. Like, they offer me another unit. They're offering me ways to help me be able to get it going even quicker than the way I got the first one going and become more profitable. And then they want to start working together on so many things. And that opens the door so much. But the thing is, if I did not start 1 year ago, and it's crazy to think that it's been a year because I feel like time's been flying by at some points. And then I feel like time has been dragging on at others, like, oh, when am I finally going to get that breakthrough? But it's only been a year, really. And majority of that year I've been learning. So we have become way too programmed to think in the short term. And we think that of a year or a couple years is too long. But in reality, 3 to 5 years is short term. And then like long term is anything 10 years or plus. And it's so hard to wrap our mind around that. But the amount of things that you can accomplish if you stick to it and do it consistently for 3 to 5 years, it will absolutely blow your mind. And I'm not even there yet, and it is blowing my mind what I have done in 1 year because I know what's going to happen over the next couple years. And yes, I'm excited for it. Yes, I want it to happen quicker, but I have to make sure I stay grounded, I stay disciplined, and it'll come. it will come, because when you put in the work, the reward will come. It may not come as quick as you want it to, but the reward is on its way. You just have to keep digging towards it. Keep working your butt off and keep working your tail off. That way, you will reach the goal. Because too many people dig and work at their goal, and they stop just inches short of it. I heard a story one time. I don't know if it was make-believe or what, but I heard a story one time where there was this group of miners, and they kind of went off on their own. So they're kind of entrepreneurs. They went off on their own to start their own little mining operation. And they thought they had done whatever they do to survey the land, and they thought that they were about to strike gold. Well, so they're working their tails off, digging, mining, and they just kept they weren't striking any gold. They weren't there. So they tried another area, not there. But then they finally just got to the point where they gave up. But what happened was, years later, another group came in, and they started mining in those same spots because they thought, oh man, these guys must have been onto something. Or they must have already gotten the gold, but we're going to see if there's any left. Well, the thing is, the gold was just a few inches farther. If that first group of men would have tried to dig just a little bit farther, if they had stayed consistent and stayed faithful to their work and to what they wanted to accomplish, they just had a few more inches to go, and their goal would have been met. But they gave up too early because they thought they should have already gotten to that point. And the thing is, you don't know when your time is to become successful. Everybody has a time. And there's things that you can do to speed it up, but a lot of the time, it's a set timeline. And you have to build yourself up, build your characteristics, because the way the world works, whether you believe in a higher figure, whatever, but the way it works is you're only given what you can handle. And so if you haven't built yourself up enough to be able to handle this massive weight of stuff, whether it be good, bad, because you're going to have good and bad no matter where you go, it's going to weigh you down. And the world, God, whatever you believe in, they're not going to give you more than you can handle. And so if you're not building yourself, strengthening your mind, your body, your spirit, your timeline's just going to keep getting pushed out farther and farther. I went off a little track there. Man, I got going. But the thing is, what saying one day does to us is just an absolute mood killer. When you say one day, it takes away your motivation. It robs you of your motivation. Because, like, I'll see YouTube videos, and I mean, it even happens now. I listen to a podcast, whatever, and something pops into my head like, ooh, I'm going to do that. I want to do that one day. And then as soon as I say one day, 5 minutes later, I forgot what it was I was going to do. Another thing saying one day does is it makes us think we have an unlimited amount of time, which we don't. Because time is limited. Everybody has a limited time. But when you say one day, you're basically telling yourself, oh, I have all this time in the world. Yeah, you may be 20, but you may only live to 40. I mean, the harsh reality is we will all die one day. One day. And we don't know when it is. So if you're telling yourself that you're going to do something one day, that day may never come. And we've got to stop saying one day. Because one day, when you say one day, it makes you think you have all the time in the world. When in reality, your time is very limited. And then another thing, saying one day, even if you were to only say one day in like your business life or whatever, your job or whatever, when you say one day, it spills over to other areas of your life. You start saying one day about things that you want to do out in the yard one day. And it starts to spill over into like, oh, one day I want I want to take my wife on that trip one day, or I want to build my relationship with my wife one day, or my kids. I want to have a bomb relationship with my kids one day. I want to build my dream car one day. I want to invest one day, whatever. When you say one day in one area of your life, it spills over into all areas of your life, every area. And before you know it, you've put off so much that you think it goes back to the unlimited time. You find yourself sitting in a chair watching TV, just letting life pass you by. And then to get a little scientific on you, I mean, it's kind of scientific, kind of not. I didn't really research it, but it makes sense. But when you say one day, it trains your mind to give you a false hit of dopamine. Because when I watch a video or a podcast when I'm learning about something new, and I'm like, I want to do that one day. Like, I get excited. I get goosebumps just now thinking about just doing something new because it's exciting. New stuff is exciting. That's why there's something called shiny object syndrome. And I dealt with it myself because there's always these different things that you can do, different routes that you can take because it's new. You're like, oh, I want to do that. Or, oh, that's new. I want to do that. Because the newness is exciting. It's like the honeymoon phase. When you say one day, you put yourself in that honeymoon phase for about 5 minutes. So you get a hit of dopamine, you get all excited, and then you just forget about it. Because now you've moved on to something else. That's something so bad about like TikTok. Just I create YouTube shorts and stuff. Yeah, I do it to promote my channel and stuff. But if you think about it, they are so bad for you. Because you're sitting there and it's literally shiny object syndrome over and over again. Because look, you watch a 10-second video, swipe, something new. Oh, something new. Swipe, 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 swipe. And it's a never-ending cycle. You're always getting something new every 10 to 15 seconds with it. And that's why I deleted TikTok. I have to give thanks to TikTok because I would have never discovered financial freedom, any of that stuff, without TikTok. But it is rough. What should you do instead of saying one day? Well, I've got a few things. So, yeah, you may not be able to do whatever it is that you want to do at that very moment, but you need to do something at that very moment that you think about it. When you would say one day, you need to do something right then and there. Take action then and there. Whatever it is, whether you write it down, writing it down would probably be best and the easiest thing to do. Because chances are, if you don't write it down, you're going to forget it. Another thing that you need to do instead of saying one day is take imperfect action. So you may already be able to do something, and you think of it, and you're like, man, I like Airbnb. The way I do it, it costs about $5,000 to $7,000 to set up a unit, and you may be sitting there like, shoot, I got $5,000 to $7,000. I can go and invest in Airbnb. So you've got the stuff to do it. You may not have a plan really to do it, but if you start now instead of starting a couple years down the road while you research and plan all that stuff, you're going to learn it in just a couple months. I mean, that's what I did. So imperfect action will negate the one day, and imperfect action will enable you to accomplish your goals quicker. And then another thing is accountability. You need to stop saying one day and find somebody to hold you accountable. And there's two different ways. If you don't have anybody to keep you accountable, you should do this regardless. Put dates on a calendar. When you decide that you want to do something, put a date on the calendar of when you want to achieve it. Yeah, it may be a couple years down the road, but you have a date that you can look at and motivate yourself every day to work towards. Because I've got a little, I'll have to grab it one day, but I said one day, but I've got paper that breaks down the next 5 years for me. And I made this last year, and it has yearly dates on it, and I have different goals that I want to be at. Yeah, they've changed. I've crossed some out and changed them, that sort of deal. But because I have those dates on there, I look at it every day and think, I'm going to get there by that date. I need to do something to get me closer to that today. And so when you set a date, it holds you yourself accountable. You don't need anybody else to hold you accountable when you set a date. Because when you set a date, you look at it every day and you get motivated every day to move closer to that goal. But then also find somebody to hold you accountable, whether it be a family member, another entrepreneur, a friend, whatever it is. You need somebody to hold you accountable. Or if you don't have anybody that you can really go to hold you accountable, I'll tell you what. This goes back to an older podcast. Figure out your why you want to do what you want to do. And then figure out the immediate people that it'll affect. Because chances are you're probably doing it to help your family. And so what I need to do, what I want to actually do, is because I want to help my parents. My parents have helped me, and I want to return the favor. They don't need help, but I want to give them everything that they could possibly ever want. So, what I need to do, what you need to do, is to hold yourself accountable. Take whoever achieving your goals is going to affect besides yourself. Print off a picture of them. Hang it up next to your goals. That way when you look at your goals and the date that you have, you can look at who it's going to affect. And it ties emotion and your motivation together. And it really gets you working, because on days that I don't want to do crap, that I just have no motivation whatsoever, I look over there at the picture and it'll make me emotional. I look at a picture on my phone, it makes me emotional, and then I look back at that date and see that it's really not that far away. Boom, instant motivation. You have got to stop saying one day. When you use the term one day, you are only encouraging yourself to procrastinate and setting yourself up for failure. Stop saying one day and take imperfect action. Put dates on the calendar to hold yourself accountable. Go get what you want, you deserve, and what your family deserves. You've got this. You can do it. I believe in you. That's probably the thing. I'm going to say I believe you in every video, because I do. I really do. I may not know you. I may not know your situation, but I believe in you, because I know it's possible. I know it is. But that is all I have for you today. We've got to stop saying one day. It is a bad habit, a very, very bad habit. I'm so guilty of it. It makes my stomach turn just thinking about it. But yeah, we've got to stop saying one day. It holds us back from so many things. So, you guys, you stop saying one day. I'm good. No, we all need to stop it. But that is it. Stay up to date on content coming out. I'm working on a lot of stuff right now, and the way it's looking right now, it's all gonna happen right at the same time. So it'll be kind of an explosion of content, explosion of events happening in my life. It's exciting. It's nerve-wracking. It's exciting. It's a lot of different feelings and emotions, but it's all good. It's all good. And it's going to be great. I think you guys will really enjoy the ride through it all. And yeah, so if you aren't subscribed again, subscribe. And if you think other people need to hear this, which they do, share it with them. And if you share it in like a story or something, tag me in it. And then I don't have a huge following, but I'll share it on mine. And plus, I'd love to hear your feedback too. So let me know what you think. But other than that, I love you guys. Thank you for watching another episode of the JS Show. My background might be changing pretty soon. I have some ideas coming up. Get a little more creative, make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing other than just a wall and a safe. But that's it, guys. Thank you again, and I will see you guys in the next one.